Afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to another New York session. Just to get started today, we'll have a look at the news. We've just had news for PPI at 1:30, about half an hour ago. Didn't really do a lot in the FX market, but gave the indices a little bit of a kick. So 1:30 PPI came out negative. Unemployment claims came out negative as well. Marginal, not an awful lot of difference, to be honest. PPI is a little bit worse than expected, but unemployment claims not an awful lot. So wasn't a massive movement. 3 o'clock we got Brainard speaking, hopefully, but doesn't tend to do an awful lot. So we'll see what happens. But I haven't banked anything else today, just that one trade from this morning so far. So same as usual. How's everybody else's morning been? Anybody banked anything this morning? Anything exciting happened? As you can see from the charts, obviously, London session's been a bit meh. Haven't really gone anywhere in London on most of the pairs. If you have a flick through, within Asian range on pretty much everything, really. The Euro Swiss that I'm still holding at the moment is coming down. Got a little bit of a gap in my charts. I actually had a problem this morning on the US2 live server, which I'm on. Just stopped working for about 10-15 minutes, went dead. Worst thing was I logged into my Axie account to go and have a look at the balances on my accounts. I hold 5 accounts with Axie with different strategies and different things I trade with them. And all my US2 live accounts had vanished. Literally, all my money had vanished. Bit worrying. So I got on to chat and they told me obviously there was an issue with the server and it all came back. So that's good. But those gaps are not gaps. Obviously, it's just data gaps. Obviously, because they went down. So not a massive amount of movement. US dollar Swiss has come down a little bit. Euro Swiss has come down a little bit. Euro New Zealand is the other short I've got on. That's still come down a touch as well. But as you can see, the London session today has been not amazing. We've had a little bit of movement, but mainly Swiss franc strength, which is good. Which is what we were expecting. So, Phil, currently on US dollar CAD buy, very small drawdown. US dollar CAD still not moving much. Still massively extended, really extended. Very nicely extended. So, with you can obviously put lines on oscillators as well. They work in the same way, extended levels. I shy away from the terminology overbought and oversold because that's a stock trading term. It's got nothing to do with something like a Forex pair. But you can do the same thing with as you do with support and resistance. Yeah, when you get down to these levels, we're exhausted and we buy from them. So we're well overdue on this one. Drops from there, drops. So looking good. US dollar CAD for longs. I'm still waiting to get in. I've got the EA running on this. EA's running on US dollar CAD, waiting to get me in. Haven't had a reversal alert yet today, so haven't actually had an opportunity to get in. So I will be getting in the first M5 reversal alert on that. But haven't got in yet. But I'm on it. I will be on it when it moves. So P&L, no difference. Well, there is a difference actually. Yeah, that's a lie. There is a difference. I'm 1% in profit at the moment, just waiting to see what happens with the S&P. So positions I've got Euro Swiss. Not much different to this morning really. Euro Swiss still holding a couple. Look on the hourly so we can see. I've got 4 positions on that at the moment. Putting in a little bit of a hammer here on the hourly. So looking for market structure. on this one to continue to the downside. I've had a question, a DM from somebody about market structure. I don't know if they're in here, but I will answer it in a minute and go through market structure in a bit more detail. Because somebody asked me if I could explain it better, so I will. So Euro Swiss, I've got that short on. Euro New Zealand, I've got the short on. That one's well in profit. Still holding it. I just love the New Zealand dollar short, so I'm still holding it. But we are getting down to an area where I should really get out. What are we at? Nearly an ADR. To hold or not to hold, that is the question. I've already banked one on this, as you can see. So this is second position on it. So still holding, but it's not a massive amount of profit. 1/3%. Not bad, is it? But and NAS and S&P got 2 positions long on that one. And a couple on that one. So yeah, holding on the S&P and the NAS. Obviously, we'll look at that this afternoon in 20 minutes when the market opens. Phil, really enjoyed your Bootcamp videos. Like the style of this basket style management we'll be getting the EA this week. Cool. Yeah, works for me, as you can see. Right, so let's have a look at the charts. Aussies. ADRs. God, I'm getting old. New Zealand dollar Swiss. We have hit ADR and come straight off of it. So if you got into this one, you've had the reversal alert on M5. We haven't gone anywhere, but we have pushed straight up into ADR high. Pulled back off of it very, very nicely. Nice M-shape reversal pattern. Have also retested, and we're just sitting in chop at the minute. So looks like nice short. Swiss francs powered up very nicely. This is the one I said about this morning, though. It's not really an ADR hit because of this silly 10 pip broker candle. So that's just shy of 100 ADR. So if you did get in on that one, it's played out, but it's officially not really one because of this silly candle. So and New Zealand dollar US dollar is the only other thing that's hit today. Again, we had a broker candle on it. We are pushed up at the moment though, so we haven't actually had a reversal alert on this. So this is 55 pip ADR. So we've got a little bit further to go. I would say probably best safe to get in on this one sort of around about the 125 ADR level. You'll be extended on RSI on M5 then as well, so it'll be due a pullback. So that one's a potential short for today. We are expecting US dollar power up, obviously, because of this massive Dixie drop that we've had. 3 down days on the trot and still pushing hard into this support level. So remember I said this morning, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to get down to here and then bounce. And we are on the way. So let's see if we can get there this afternoon. If we can, that's when I would expect the US dollars to start powering up. Somewhere around this area, 125% ADR on the Dixie. So we'll see if we get there. No other ADR hits today. 4 hours, pretty much the same as this morning. The Aussie US, really nicely extended. We started to push back down off of that area and pushing back up again. So that one... this level here obviously is a decent support resistance level. We've broken this level here, so this is an area that was interesting and is now not. Is more interesting as a support up to here. So this is either going to run into this selling pressure here and then have its drop reaction because we're very, very extended, or we may well just bounce and pop up there, or it could go straight up there. You never know. One or the other. But when we get up to that level, that's when I would start to get interested in shorts on this. You can get into it now, obviously, and then just take an additional up there, which is roughly an ADR away. Yeah, very nicely extended Aussie US. As I say, this is all on the US dollar drop. So everything we're going to look at here on the extensions is all US dollar related. So Aussie dollar, US dollar, don't take all of these obviously because they're all US dollar. If you take them all and the US dollar does continue to squeeze, you're going to get into trouble. So, so Aussie dollar, US dollar, Euro, US dollar. Huge extension on that one. Really, really like that. Euro US dollar is the inverse of the Dixie though. So obviously looking at that and then looking at that, it's just the opposite. So same thing with this one. We looked at it this morning. We're looking to get down to a level down there on the Euro US dollar. We've got a level coming up here. This is where I'd like to get to. So 100 ADR push on this one today. But we're going to need a US dollar drop at the open to achieve that, which we might well do. We'll see. But yeah, it's just a waiting game at the moment on these US dollars to wait and see if we get something to power it up. I was hoping the PPI would, but it didn't. So unfortunately, that's not happened. But if we get the continued push today, tomorrow we've got retail sales. Yeah, so 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, retail sales. That could well be the catalyst for a reversal if we don't get it today. So yeah, Euro US dollar, same as this morning. We're still extended, obviously. We were up here this morning. We're up here now. Pound US dollar. Again, massive extension. We just come up into this sell zone here. This big propulsion candle is where we had this accumulation, and this is the breakdown. So this is where all the selling started. It's been a long time. This is going back to end of October. Long time since this happened. Very highly likely everybody that sold here is out. So there's probably not a lot to defend that area. So we could push up further on this one. Again, it's all going to be reliant on the US dollar and what happens with that. It's the world's currency, so it will dominate everything if we do get the push on the US dollar. But if not, this is where we're coming to. So if we get retail sales figures tomorrow and they decide they want to drop the US dollar further, obviously looking at roughly an ADR move up to the highs there, and that's where we should definitely see some kind of double top bounce. But I would suspect we'd probably do it earlier than that. But we'll see. But yeah, massive extension, 80 on that one. Really, really tired. Loads of these are really, really tired. Yeah, and just because we're massively extended here doesn't mean we're coming down here. It just means we will start a pullback very soon. Obviously, as you can see here, we started a pullback, then continued to drop. Pulled back, continued to drop. Yeah, so just because the RSI is extended, it's not a directional indicator. It's a market condition indicator. It tells you when the market has been traveling too far in one direction. It doesn't tell you which direction it's going to go in. So it's telling us at the moment we are very due a pullback move, at least, if not a recovery and a deeper move to the downside. But we don't know which it's going to be. So we plan for worst case scenario, which is just a pullback and bounce. But yeah, due, very, very due. So looking short on pound US dollar. So short on all of these. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, same thing. This is just unbelievable, the size of this move. So since we got this reversal alert and pullback, the pullback started from here. You could take either of these levels, but whichever one you take, it's not far off. 150 pips. So this is a 3 ADR move. Literally in 3 days. So we've done an ADR a day basically on New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and we've just hit the the 24 moving average, and we are also tapping into this gap here where this selling pressure, this is continuation selling pressure. So the sell move started there, continued there, continued there. So these zones here are where the sellers have stepped in. First time coming back, the bulls are trying to break these highs and start a move to the upside. So whether or not these sellers are going to bat them back down again, we don't know, obviously. AWR weekly range 150 on US dollar Swiss. So yeah, big potential move to the downside on this one. Absolutely exhausted. We'll get a pullback. But the New Zealand dollar has been very weak of late, so you can see the pullbacks on this thing have been tiny. When we're in a big strong move, the pullbacks have been very, very small. So don't expect a massive pullback out of this one, but it is very, very nicely extended. There's better ones though. Pound US dollar I would prefer, and so US dollar CAD. And US dollar CAD is obviously the one that I'm getting into. I'm just waiting for a reversal alert. Need some strength on the 5-minute chart. Sorry, there's my doorbell going. Somebody trying to sell something, or probably politicians. US dollar CAD, so I'm going to ignore them. US dollar CAD long. US dollar Swiss, again, very, very extended to the downside. Look on the 4-hour chart. We're shot to bits. Just come down to this double bottom down here. And as it just said, we've just hit the weekly range, 150. So it's done 150% of its normal average weekly range. We are Thursday, but we are obviously, as you can see, we're absolutely shot to bits. We're very, very, very extended. So we've got some lovely support levels we're coming down to now here. Let me just scroll out a little bit more so we can see where we are. So we've been in a very, there's multiple, obviously, consolidations going on here. But this is the main area of balance and consolidation we've been happily trading in for 6 months plus now. We're right down at the lows here, and this is where we get to before we have typically a bounce. So where we are now, they are either taking liquidity and they're going to run with it, or they're going to reach for liquidity and run with it, double bottom it. Or worst case scenario, we're going to put in an extended move like this one here, down there. So difficult one to call, but want to be longing it. So the play on this is pretty straightforward. Massively extended. So you can start longing it as soon as you get a reversal alert. If you want to scale in, this is a bit close to be entering multiple positions here. I think we're probably going to get down to here before we get any kind of bullish price action. But longing it there, and if that doesn't hold, where's that other level gone? Sure, I just drew that other level in, didn't I? Am I going mad? Maybe I didn't. So yeah, if that other level doesn't hold, you're going to be looking at getting in down there, which is roughly 125 ADR away. So yeah, and if we can get all the way down here without any kind of profit take move, this is coming back up to the top. Massive propulsion gaps, big targets to the upside here, loads of them. So looking to trade up into there. So lovely looking longs on US dollar Swiss. I've already got a Euro Swiss short on, and I've got a US dollar CAD waiting to go on. So I'm not going to get into this one because I'm already exposed on the Swissy, and I'm just about to get exposed on the US dollar with an initial position. So, but that's a really, really nice looking entry as well. So, and US dollar yen, don't like it, but it broke down through that level. So 72, I would be looking to get into that. If we get down to the 72 without stopping, jump all over it. It's going to ping. But US dollar CAD and US dollar Swiss, I think, are much better longs at the moment. So one of those two. So any of these, pound US dollar and US dollar CAD, my favourites at the moment. I haven't got any pound exposure on. It's difficult because there's so much US, it's all US dollar related, and I don't want to overexpose myself on the US dollar. So I'm just going to get in the one at the moment and let the other two play out. Although I'm tempted on that pound. So it's such a strong move, that pound. I just don't like the way it's broken above the 20. Like, it didn't stop at the 24 or the 72. It just went through it. But we've got a double top, and we've got selling pressure and an area consolidation that we're entering to. So does look good as well. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for pound US as well. Short. Let's do it. So that's 9 and 10. So when you're adding the EA onto the charts, you just basically amend the magic number. So you just have to have a unique long and short on every chart that you put it on. Shorting it. on M5. Actually, we just had one, haven't we? And we're retesting. Okay, what I'll do with this, let's have a look at M15. Do I want to take the hourly? That's a bit far away, isn't it? 35 pips, nearly half an ADR. Ignore this read. This will redraw the EA. When you flick time frames on the EA, it doesn't like it. I'm going to go pending order below this high. So this high here, assuming that this retest is going to hold. So we've got reversal alert and retest. Assuming that's going to hold, when we break down below that low, that's when I would say that's confirmed to go short. So I'm going to stick an initial sell in there. Should be a 0.3. So I'm going to hit a sell stop in there to get in, which will be a retest of the reversal alert. And then obviously the EA will take over for me if it does push against us any further and get into additional positions. But I'll take that initial position on the pound US dollar there. Target wise on that. How much is that? Let's stick a TP on it. $90 pips. That's just over an ADR. So this level here is the potential initial support. Probably going to go way deeper than that, but happy with an ADR on that. That's going to bank. I'm going to bank a 0.5%, isn't it? Yeah, I'll take 0.5% on it. I'm doing well out of the S&P at the moment and the Nasdaq, so I'm not too worried about making a fortune on the FX pairs. So that's all of the RSIs on the 4-hour. Hourlies, I won't go through the hourlies. It's the same. It's all the same. Actually, it's pound New Zealand's the difference, isn't it? Yeah, so pound New Zealand is different. So that's been pushing. We've had the reverse alert on that one. On the hourly, that's obviously extended to the downside. So I'd be looking, obviously I wouldn't be looking to really long that necessarily. Okay, any questions on any of those? Anything that I've covered? Anybody got any other pairs they want to cover? Market's opening in 6 minutes. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to look at. So somebody asked me about market structure. I have got a very short video on YouTube about market structure. It's kind of an introduction to market structure. There's loads of content on market structure out there if you're interested in it. I haven't really recorded anything in detail because it is a very, very, very simple concept. But somebody's asked if I can explain it in a little bit more detail. Customer service is back in the room. Customer service is short on GU with the EA from yesterday. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, still pushing. So yeah, just add as necessary. So market structure, basically, just to give you an overview quickly of it and maybe explain it in more detail. If you're in the stream now and you ask me the question in Telegram, just let me know if this makes sense. If you're not in here and you're watching the replay, you have to ask me some more questions. But market structure, basically, all market structure is the pattern we see on the chart where price moves when it trends or when it ranges. So market structure has a low point that you start from, and then it will move up, and then it will pull back. And that pullback will determine whether or not we're going to go into a trend or not. And if we go and put in a higher low than where we started, and then we put in a higher high than where we pushed to initially, that is a trend. Yeah, so this is market structure. That's all it is. The structure is a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low than that one, a higher high. Yeah, that is it in a nutshell. Simplified, obviously. In the real world, it rarely looks like that. Yeah, and a market structure break is where you don't make a higher high and you then make a lower high and put in a lower low. Yeah, so this is a trend, market structure going up, and this is where we switch to a new trend in the opposite direction, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and this is where the market reversal alerts indicator is telling you there's a market structure break. Yeah, when this happens. So this condition here where that happens is what the indicator is showing you. And obviously that doesn't work, it doesn't hold all the time, but that is what it's doing. It's swing highs and swing lows, right? So that is a simplified version of market structure. Pound US dollar we've got on the chart now is actually quite a good example. We got a low here. Yeah, we pushed up. We made a new high. We consolidated for a bit and made another new high. Then we pulled back and made a low. Then we pushed up and made a new high here. And then up here. So that's a new high, higher than that one. Pulled back, put in a new low, which was higher than that low. Then we put in another new high and another one. Then we made another higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Didn't make a higher high and made a new lower low, right? So this is a market structure break, right? So that is where the structure of the uptrend broke down. But then it decided, actually, I'm going to have another go at going higher, made a double top, pulled her up, pulled back, and made a new high. And then a higher low. Tried again, didn't make it. Tried again, did make it. So we've got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, consolidation, another higher high. Yeah, you see where the reversal alert indicator is here. So when we break down below this level here, that will give you an indication there's a reversal alert. If we push up, make a lower high and then pull back down, that is where you get your arrow. That is the retest alert, and that is a market structure break. Okay, so that is it on a live chart. Yeah, so you can see obviously when you see it drawn, it looks like that. In the real world, it doesn't look like that. You know, a head and shoulders pattern looks like that. Yeah, in the real world, it doesn't look anything like that. Sometimes it does, but 90% of the time, it's not going to look exactly like that. So, so hopefully that explains it. But there's not a lot else to it. That's it. That's market structure. A series of higher highs and higher lows, or a series of lower lows and lower highs, is a downtrend. Yeah, so that's really all there is to market structure. So I just wanted to cover that because somebody asked in the Telegram group to explain it in more detail, and that's why I haven't really made a video of it. That's kind of what's in my video. So if that doesn't really answer the question any more detail, I can't really answer it anymore because that is all it is. It's not that complex. But if you're struggling to see market structure, like I say, maybe flick over to Renko charts because you can't miss market structure on a Renko chart. Market's just opened, so let's flick over to the S&P. Any questions on that, anybody? Hopefully that kind of explains it, but if you've got any questions, let me know. Right, S&P. So opened and just tapped the highs of London. So it looks like we've just taken out the London highs. And we're trying to push down. So got a little bit of profit on the table at the moment. So I can actually bank a bit. So we'll see what happens at the open. I've got one down here. I can take off. If we start to look like we're going to open bearish, I might take one off of each. Better put it in the bank than let it go into drawdown, but we'll see. Bozo, thank you for the explanation. No problem. Don't take trades off of my chart, by the way, because there's about a 20-second delay on the stream. So use your own charts if you're entering, because my charts are not live for you. They are for me, obviously. But okay, so we've got a bit of a difference of. Sorry, I had my I had my VPS over the top of the screen. Then got a bit of a difference of opinion on the S&P and the NAS at the moment. The S&P is leading the NAS, which is unusual. It's normally the NAS leading the S&P. But yeah, it looks like we're going stronger today. I haven't done a little analysis, have I? Where do we think we're going today, guys? Anybody got any ideas? I did kind of allude to it this morning, what I thought was going to happen. But some people never get it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Correct. You can give 10 people a trading strategy. 2 of them will make a fortune, the other 8 will go bankrupt. Same strategy. Psychology plays a massive, massive part in trading. Not so much psychology, it's more you and your battle with your inner self, really, is what where most people fail. The little people in your head that tell you to bank when you know it's going where you thought it was. We're struggling to get new highs. Trying hard though. So the NAS, we're in this massive sell zone at the moment, and if we can crack the top of this, so if we can really, I mean, if we break the recent highs from yesterday, if we could crack yesterday's high, we're probably off today, but we are in a big selling area here, so it may well struggle a little today. S&P, same story. We're in this sell zone here. So this is we had a lot of obviously downside movement, which we've got to plow through. So we need a lot of selling, buying pressure today to get some decent movement to the upside. But from a daily perspective, we kind of had a rotational day yesterday, so I'm expecting a push today. We had a lovely pullback already, so we've done the pullback really, so I'm expecting an up day today, hopefully. This level here, as I sort of alluded to this morning, where my break-even line is, really nice. My break-even line automatically drew that line in for me, but it's exactly where I would have drawn a resistance line, because every time we've tried to get through that, we've failed until the Santa rally and yesterday. So yesterday we cracked it again after the pullback. Again, market structure lesson: low, high, low, double top, higher low. That's the important thing. Higher low, higher high, higher low. That's what we're expecting. Yeah. So that's what I'm expecting from an S&P perspective, and from the NAS. Obviously, we've pulled back very, very deep. The NAS is different. You can see the market structure is actually now bearish. Although we did make a new high with a Santa rally, but then we put in this big new low. So depending on how you draw it, and again, it's a little bit subjective, that is actually bearish market structure. Where you've got divergence on the Nasdaq and the S&P, always makes the market very difficult to read. Obviously, long term we're bullish, always bullish on indices, but at the moment, obviously, we're in a difficult spot. Nas looks like it wants to break down. We're about to get a reversal on there potentially. I'm just going to take one off the NAS. You see, I say that every time I go for the button, he pops his head up again and goes, actually, I might go up. I just want to bank some money, basically. I just want to bank a little bit more today because I've only got about 1/3% in the bank. It's not enough. I'm going to stick one in the bank. I'm going to stick one of each in the bank. One S&P and one NAS. So that's an old one. That's an old one I did a partial on. That's one from yesterday. So obviously, if we are not going to, if that rotational day was a pause before a drop pullback, I mean, it is due a bit more of a pullback. You can see, I mean, we've had a very decent push there. We are due a pullback into these areas. So any kind of pullback into there, look for reversal alerts if we get them. I'm using pendings at the moment down here, but we'll see. As anybody that's been in the live room for any period of time will tell you, do the opposite to what I do. So if I've got a long on and I bank it, hold it, because 9 times out of 10 it goes twice as far as I take it. So, and if I get into a position, wait until I've got into 3 positions and then get into your first one, because I normally go into positions in drawdown by 2 or 3 positions before they start to move my way. As you can see here, prime example, Lee takes off his profit and the market says, oh, thank you very much, off we go. But I'd rather have it sitting in here than in a negative drawdown situation. So I've still got a position on the S&P and I've still got 2 on the NAS to run. So regarding the NAS, I think it might go down to touch the 200 on the hourly and then back up. I don't use hourly 200s. Where's that gone? Ah, I've already got a 200. That's why. That one. Hello? Where's my 200 moving average gone? There we go. It's not going to come down to the 200 on the hourly. It is on the 200 on the hourly. It's coming up into the 200 on the hourly. Do you mean the 200 on the daily? I think we'll struggle to get down there. Might do, but I don't think we'll get down there. The pullback's done. I think, but you never know. You never can tell. Nobody knows. I'm not right, necessarily. We're off today, though. Since it recently broke the 200 EMA yesterday for the first time in a while. Hope I don't break my chart now. Yeah, I set my indicators up. A little tip for people that don't know. Any indicator you have on your chart, you can have it only appear on specific time frames. People don't know or investigate this visualization tab, but my 200 moving average, I'm only interested in it on the daily. So I only visualize it on the daily. But you have to, if you change those settings, you have to flick time frames for it to reset itself. So hence I have 2 moving averages on my chart. 2 RSIs. Yeah, I got an RSI there and an RSI there, but you only see one. So when I'm on the 4 hour and above time frame, I use a 14, which is visualized on H4 and daily. And when I'm on anything lower than 4 hour, 1 hour down to M1, I use a 21. So I have them both on the chart, but obviously it automatically flicks from the 21 to the 14, depending on the time frame I select. So little tip for all you MT4 people. I learned something the other day on MT4 that you could make your lines go horizontal by holding shift after you've edited them. There you go. Always be learning. 1 hour, I see the one on TradingView crossed over. Yeah. Don't pay too much attention to moving average crossovers, but moving average crossovers are usually very, very, very lagging. So we're running into, oops, too far. Running into this area from yesterday, where the sell-off happened, which is being currently rejected. So we need to crack that level. We need to really crack yesterday's high, really, to confirm a move to the upside. So the buyers are coming in hard at the moment, but we need some momentum, which we're struggling with at the minute. So 2 minutes until 15-minute opening range. So there's our opening range at the moment. Steal that from yesterday's chart. Oh, I haven't got one on the NAS. I can't copy that over there, can I? Wake up. So there's our opening ranges. So we see how we get on with those. Really undecided opening range there. We've got 1 minute to go. We're putting in a very, very, very wide doji at the open. Zero decision on direction at the moment. Looking bullish though. Really nice wicks to the downside. So looking like it's a long day for NAS. So fingers crossed. But if we get the break, so if we can get the break and the retest that 15-minute opening range, that would be a good entry long. If you need to add to entries or get into entries, if we get the break, obviously. I've obviously already got one on, but if I'm adding, then I tend to wait for the break and pullback to get into additional positions. If you're feeling brave, you can just literally go with a pending order above the high. But quite often we will just sweep that and drop. So not the most sensible play. That's what the market makers do. They come up, take your stops and pending orders, and then run off with them. Bozo, why do I use two RSIs? So on the higher time frame charts, I use the 14 RSI because you need a slightly faster RSI. The 21 on the daily chart or the 4-hour chart, so you can see where we got an extension. Let me just put them both up so you can see the difference. Is that 14? Yeah. Okay, so you see the difference here. The 14 gets is a faster RSI, yeah, than the 21. So if you use the 21, you'll never get these big extensions outside of the 80-20 level. It's so difficult on higher time frames for a 21 RSI to get there. If it does, it's absolutely shot. This thing would be down at 10. So you can just use one. You can just use the 21, or you could just use the 14. It's entirely up to you. This is answered in the Bootcamp videos, yeah, but not in any detail. It's just literally I like a faster RSI on higher time frames because it gives me more confirmed signals. The 21 doesn't get me in fast enough. The 14 on lower time frames gets me in too quick. Yeah, so if I was to use a 14 on the hourly or the M15, the 14 will get there way. It gives you loads and loads and loads of signals, and quite often those signals will be far too early. So I just found that the 14 is better on higher time frames. That's all. But it's personal preference. There's no right or wrong. I'm going to turn that one off, don't I? But yeah, up to personal preference. There's not a massive amount in it, but I just from experience, I just find I like a faster one on higher time frames. No movement outside of range yet. Where's my line gone? There we go. It's right up there. So stuck at the moment in all this selling pressure. But any indicator, I would just encourage you with any indicator, whatever indicator it is, back test it. Play with the settings. So the best indicators you could use are the ones with settings, multiple settings. Yeah. But not too many settings. If you've got indicators that have got like 5 or 6 different inputs, they become more difficult to backtest. It takes a lot longer to backtest them. But with things like the relative strength index, stochastics, all the oscillators and the moving averages and as such, test it. So, stick it on your chart. And depending on how you're using it, you could use it, let's say the RSI, I'm going to take trades when we cross above 50. Test it with the 21, test it with 7, test it with the 14, test it with the 28, test it with the 10, the 20, the 15, whatever you want. But test them and see how they work for you. And it's a case a lot of the time in just matching up. So if you're looking for an oscillator that is going to show you extended conditions, like the RSI, put a line. What I did with the RSI, and I think this is in one of my videos, is literally every time we got extended on the RSI, I put a line there when we got extended, and just replicate that. That's it. Yeah. Say I'm going to get in long when we get extended below there, and see how much drawdown you take and see what the reward was. I'm going to get extended when I got up there. You wouldn't have had any drawdown. Got a bearish engulfing and went down. Got extended there, dropped. That's how you test it. And then flick it over to a different one, 14. Repeat the process. So on the 14, as you can see, I would have got extended quicker. There. one candle earlier. So I'd have actually taken more drawdown on the 14 than I did on the 21. This one here, I got extended here as well. Full signal. Yeah? And embedded. So it's actually better to use a 21. Yeah? Because the 14's too fast. And this is a prime example of why I use the 14 and the 21. The 14's way too fast on low time frames. You get too many false signals. I want price to have really gone for it. It's got to have moved hard and fast so that I know there's been so much buying pressure that these guys have got to exit their positions. Because when you know as well as I do, when you hit the buy button and the market goes flying in your direction, you're like, excellent, excellent. You're sitting there waiting, poised over that sell button because you don't want to lose your profit. And everybody's doing the same thing. And what happens is you get to a point where there's a bearish engulfing and some people will hit the sell button and some people won't. Some will hold it. More experienced traders will know that there's probably going to be a pullback and a continuation. They'll hold it. Inexperienced traders will dump it. They'll take their profit. Everyone makes money. It's great. But then it pushes up even further and gets even more extended. And then you get more strong selling pressure coming in. And as you get a bigger bearish engulfing, that scares more of us out the market. More of us hit the sell button. Therefore, the sell cycle starts until it's over. So I want to know when there's been a really strong move because I know that all these buyers have got to hit the sell button to get out of their positions. And I want to get in on the pullback when they do that. Equally, you could use it in the opposite way. You could say, I'm going to wait until that pullback has happened and I'm going to take a bounce trade in the continuation. There's so many ways to use every indicator out there. But backtest, 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 backtest. If you find you prefer the 21 over the 14, use the 21. Or vice versa. Go higher, you know. Go with a 30, yeah. The only signal, we haven't had one. I'm just watching this. It's not really going anywhere at the moment. Yeah, so here you go. So if you used a 30, the only signal you would have had, I'm assuming we're going to use a 30 level as the first level. You would have got in there. That's all. You haven't had any other signals. It's debatable, that one. I don't think it's hit. So yeah, slower RSI, much, much, much stronger signal. Go higher than that as well if you want to. 40. Not a lot of difference really, is it? But yeah, I mean, you get the point. Use what works for you. I just settled on the 14 and the 21, but I'm quite aggressive. So, you know, I like to get in fairly fast and hard and get out quick. If you want to catch much slower movements, higher RSIs will probably work better for you. Sorry, lower RSIs will work better. Higher RSIs work better for you because they're slower. Hopefully that answers the question anyway. We're still stuck within the 15-minute opening range at the minute. And obviously you can repeat that process with any indicator out there. So moving averages the lot. But be very careful with moving averages because they're very easy to curve fit. You curve fit them to the most times they hit. That doesn't mean they're going to hit in the future. Obviously, you know, everything you see here is all hindsight. It's all what's happened in the past. It's not a guarantee of what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so S&P is looking pretty bullish. Loads and loads of wicks to the downside. Buyers are definitely in control at the moment. Same with the NAS. Buyers are in control. I suspect we're going to get a break to the upside. . Just no confirmation of anything at the minute. God, my P&L's looking a bit light. I don't like having no risk on. It's funny, I'm used to having drawdown. It's weird not having drawdown. It is only halfway through the month though. Still plenty of opportunity to get myself into trouble. So yesterday's high is target today, upside, but unless we can crack this 15-minute range, we're not going anywhere. And as soon as we do crack that, we've got a big selling pressure, which we're going to run straight into. So it's going to be a tough day to get some upside today, I think, but looks like it wants to go, doesn't it? Euro's coming down still, so still looking wicky. Euro New Zealand is still coming down. Euro Swiss still coming down. Has tried to run the stops at the lows, but it's looking heavy still. So if we can crack this yesterday's low and get a break below yesterday's low and hold at ADR, I think we'll probably get a little bit more of a downside on that one today. Same with all the Swissies. They're looking heavy. So I think we're going to get a bit more Swiss franc strength in today. Looks like it at the moment. Dow has already cracked yesterday's high but rejected. The gap indicator I use, Bozo, is in the Telegram group. If you go into the Telegram group, it's in there. There's a link. If you go to the files section, you'll see it in there. It's tough today, this. It's a really good example of gap fill there. So this high here and this low here formed this gap, which you can see. Price moves straight down on the open, straight into that wick and back out. So all the buyers that made this move happen, which broke these highs, as soon as they sold into it, the buyers pushed them back out. But obviously sellers have now taken over because we are in this whacking great sell zone here. So a lot of selling pressure. But we're defending it still at the moment. We're just about to try and crack the 15-minute opening range, which we've just done. So let's see if we can hold this. Still more buyers stepping in at the moment, so we need to break below that if we're going to get a rotation down. And if we do get a rotation down, we need to start looking for where we are heading today, which would be that's done. So I'd have to say Asian lows initially, and then yesterday's low, which is down here, which is London's low. But at the moment, we're not going anywhere. Horrible days like this, you just have to sit through them. Obviously, you don't tend to bank a lot of money when you got days like this, unless you're scalping really low, like if you're 1 minute scalping and stuff like that, then obviously you can bank on any day, but obviously it's very dangerous. Well, a lot more dangerous, a lot more difficult, put it that way. It's not all dangerous if you know what you're doing, it's good, but if you don't, very, very, very easy to get into a revenge trade. The biggest problem people have is overtrading, and the lower the time frame you go, the more opportunities and signals you get, the more you overtrade, which is why hourlies and 4 hourlies are the best time frames to concentrate on, because it stops you overtrading. Way less signals. Some would argue less opportunities, but more profitable opportunities. Okay, looks like we're going to get the break. No, we're not. It's toying with us today, isn't it? So we're basically rejecting off these highs. Yeah. So obviously this is a strong area where the buyers tried to crack through. Yeah. There's a saying in trading. If you knock on the door 3 times and you can't get through, you tend to stop and go the other way. 4 times managed to finally get through it. But obviously the fact that it took 4 attempts to crack this level means there's huge selling pressure here. And obviously price has managed to get through it eventually, and it's run into selling pressure again. So had a reverse alert. So we have got structure change to the downside potentially forming. So there is a lot of selling pressure at the moment. Buyers are just not able to crack through. You can see how much buying pressure there's been batted away here. All these wicks, the sellers pushing price down, buyers pushing back up again, buyers continuously winning here, and finally giving up. So it is starting potentially to come down. So areas to the lows, obviously, as I say, Asian lows today. Yesterday's low, and this area here, which will be down at an 100 ADR. So if we are going to roll over from here, these are the areas, if you want to get into positions, that I'd be interested in. I've obviously got positions on up here already, so I don't really want to get into another one here. It's a little bit too close. I may consider one at yesterday's low. See what the price action is when we get down to here. And again, when you get down to here, if you want to drop down to the 1 minute time frame and look for reversal alerts on the 1 minute time frame, it's a good opportunity to get in. US dollar CAD just hit entry. Yeah, it did. just triggered. 1M5. Just got the reversal alert, so I'm in. Initial entry. Yeah, so just look for areas and obviously look at where we're likely to pull back. So looking for pullbacks and then exits. And if we are going to get a continuation down, entry and exit. So just keep buying as we pull down and getting out as we pull down. Any positions I've got on there, I'll just leave, obviously, because we are going to go up at some point. But if it gets too deep, then I'll start to do drawdown control on these. As you can see here, I've done a drawdown control already on this one, which I shouldn't have done because it went up. But make yourself comfortable. So this area here of contraction is obviously where the buyers started. So hence we're hitting a bit of chop here because there's a lot of buyers in here, which made this move start. So big battle at the moment. It's not a bad area to start looking at getting into a position if you haven't got a position built. I'm already on here, but with the 15-minute opening range, we quite often will pull out of it. If we're going to go into a rotation, we'll pull out of it and pull back in again. Obviously, there's an opportunity for you to profit there. Or if we are going to push down, we will tend to use that initial range as a bounce point. But as always, we don't know. US dollar CAD looks like that's flying. Is that Canadian dollar weakness? Yeah, it's CAD weakness. Look. Yeah, so it's CAD weakness. That's why the US dollar CAD's going. Nothing to do with the US dollar. It's the CAD. So we've still not got any strength on the US dollar. A little bit of buying pressure here for the S&P. Again, it's kind of this. You're kind of looking at a delayed reaction here. The S&P is a delayed reaction of what we've already seen break on the Nasdaq. So virtually guaranteed that is not going to hold because this will obviously drag the S&P down. So looking for this sort of level. If you do want to short these, look for a pullback opportunity, I would. So look for pullbacks to the lows where we broke out of. If we can get a pullback up to there, to look for shorts. But personally, I don't like shorting indices. Euro's having a little bit of a push against New Zealand. That's obviously New Zealand dollar weakness by the looks of things. Yeah, New Zealand dollar's coming down. Starting to. I've got to shoot off at 3:30 today, So in 20 minutes. I've got a meeting. Not an exciting meeting with a plumber. Okay, so pulling back down into the Asian range now and heading towards the London lows. This is obviously an area of accumulation where we broke out to the upside. So accumulating buy positions in here, which got delivered there. Gary's getting long on the pound US dollar. That's been going up nicely, pound US dollar. You're chasing it a little bit if you're long in it, but $137.50 is the long breakout area. What's it breaking out of? There's nothing to break out of. That's a very strong resistance. Yeah, 137.480. It's very, very strong resistance area. Be very careful up there, especially on the daily. May continue to go, but you're in your fifth up day on pound US dollar. Yeah, again, look at history. Not saying it won't go, but everyone can make money in different ways. Okay, so we're stalling a little bit down at the at this accumulation area on the NAS. Some buying pressure coming in. S&P, obviously the S&P is running into all of this. So it's just getting stuck in this. Whenever you see accumulation areas, they're obviously large buying and selling accumulation areas. Yeah, so the fact that lots of transactions have happened there in the past generally tends to mean that a lot of transactions will want to happen again at that area. So you tend to just get a stall. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. It means obviously you would tend to stall at these levels. So they're good areas to potentially take trades to pull back if you're scalping small time frames. And in fact, any time frame, but just areas where there's a lot of transactions happening. Euro Swiss ADR. So that's they have broken that level, 100% ADR now. So yesterday's lows cracked. That's good. I'll hold on to that one. I think these are all manual positions, these Euro Swisses. All but one. So the EA's taken that one. These are my three. So I need to TP these down there. I'm not going to get there today. Actually, I've got a TP down there. Already set. A little bit of buying pressure coming in. Camarilla pivots, eh? I keep hearing about Camarilla pivots. I've never, ever looked into them. I used to trade pivots. I tried trading. I've done everything. I traded everything. I've traded pivots, but not Camarilla pivots. pivots used to work. This is where pivots is actually where I first discovered sort of basket trading, position trading. There was somebody I used to trade with who used to trade with pivots, and he used them a bit like an ADR. Yeah, so you can with ADR assume we're going to get a rejection at one of them, which most of the time happens if we get there quickly. And it's the same with the pivot lines, basically scaling in at the pivots, waiting for the pullback to exit the position. But I never never heard of Camarilla pivots. I've in the last year I've seen them popping up more and more, so they're also getting popular with retail. But like anything, if they work for you, use them. Dollar weakness, yes, you're correct on the resistance. Yeah, be careful, just careful with the dollar at the moment. The dollar can go, any currency can collapse, but the dollar is approaching initial support here from this. And when you see a propulsion move like this, break support, resistance so convincingly, again, third tap, fourth time is a charm. Fourth tap gets through it. That is strong. And we're approaching it now. So there is still downside, obviously. But again, we're not guaranteed to hit it to the pip. Look at where we are with this wick here. Yeah? To the pip. We've just tapped that wick to the pip. Virtually. Again, it's nothing's exact. But and 4 hour just shot. It's been such a strong move, again with no profit take. So we're due at least a profit take move. And again, 72 moving average on the daily is a moving average that is supported, but again, nothing hits to the pip. It's an area where we tend to see the pressure in buying and selling change. Yeah. We do crack it. But, equally, this could be the start of a new downtrend on the US dollar. Who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. This is the thing. As soon as the sooner you, in trading, and this is something I found out far too late, the sooner in trading you accept that you've got no control and you cannot do anything about anything, the easier it becomes to trade. You hit that button, and if it goes down, there's nothing you can do about it. You deal with it. It's one of the hardest lessons to learn, the fact that you've got no control. If you hit the buy button and it turns, and this happens to everybody in retail, doesn't it? Yeah, it's something that everybody has gone through. You hit the buy button, and as soon as you hit the buy button, it collapses. It takes out your stop. So it goes down like that. So you hit the sell button. As soon as it does that, it goes like that, and it takes out your stop. And you think the market's against you, and you think it's somehow they can see your positions and they know exactly what you're doing, and you're doing the opposite. As soon as you start removing those stops and accept the fact that the market is going to go in the direction it's going to go in until it decides it wants to go in the other direction, and you position yourself to wait for that, because it's going to happen. It always does. It never has not done it in history. That's when all of a sudden the light bulb moment comes on. It's like you're getting on a train, yeah? There's a station there, there's a station there, there's a station there. You get on the train there, and you hope it goes to that station. When it gets to that station, it's either going to go on to the next one, it's going to turn around and come back to that one. Nobody knows which way it's going to go. Your job is to get on the train and hold on. That's your job as a trader. That's all you can do. Like at the moment, the NAS is coming down really hard. Buy it. It's coming down really hard. What does it do when it comes down hard? It goes back up, springs. It's an elastic band. There's just certain things you need to accept, and they're nothing to do with technical analysis, fundamental analysis. They're just facts of what happens in the market. Yesterday, market came down really hard. Buy. Wait for that to happen and get out and make money. That's all you can do. Same thing that's happening today. If it pushes down ridiculously hard to ADR, buy the hell out of it. everybody goes, oh, it's coming down, I'm going to sell. So they hit the sell button, then it just pings back and takes out their stops. Just stop doing it. I know it's hard to do, but gotta try. 1 hour reversal alert on the NASDAQ on my charts. Yeah. I haven't got that. You've obviously had a new high put in. But yeah, we've had a reversal alert and retest. So potentially we are coming back down. But we've got to crack these lows. You know, it's not really gone anywhere yet today. We're not even out the Asian range yet. I wonder if there could be a pullback. Yeah. Yeah, it's likely. I mean, the main... You can see, obviously, when we got the new highs, we came down very hard. So all the buyers were trapped. We cracked the low, came back up. Again, support resistance. Fell off. Massive selling pressure. Didn't get anywhere near it. Collapsed. We still haven't got through this. So the sellers are defending this zone. The buyers came in here and here and here. When we got the reversal alert, and we got the retest of the reversal alert. So yeah, every opportunity for it to come down. But there's good solid pressure here as well for it to go up. You know, this is zone. This is the whole premise of indice trading is it's a buyer, it's the bulls and the bears. Yeah. You just don't know which one's going to win it. So all you do is you make sure that you get in with these guys. So you need to take a bias on the market. My bias is always long. I'm always buying where I can see buying pressure. I hate selling. And admittedly, yes, it does look like a decent sell today. But if I hit that sell button, I know exactly what's going to happen. It's just going to do that. So I would rather go into drawdown and wait for that to happen. But equally, you know, a lot of people can sell very easily. You know, a lot of people have sold this already and made a load of money today. Great, good on you. It's just not my style. I get stung whenever I sell it. I lose money. I did it the other day, didn't I? Last week. Can't remember what I sold. Be able to find it in here. I sold the NAS somewhere in here. There it is. There it was there. Oh, I'm never going to find that. There. Had a little sell in there. And a TP down there. And I scared myself out, didn't I? This was on much lower time frame. I think this was on M5. Oops. All right. Yeah, so I saw this. We broke out instantly. We pulled back and I was like, this is short. So I got in when we got the retest and we broke back down again below the lows. And I got scared. Yeah, because I saw wick buying, wick buying, wick buying. And I went, nah. And then it pushed up and collapsed. Yeah, it's easy to sell. You can do it. No problem at all. But 90% of the time, I'm so scared every time I hit the sell button because it always does this to me. And the one time, obviously, I don't do it. Vroom. We have one of the biggest down days in a long time. 150 ADR move to the downside. But hey, sod's law. But yeah, if you can sell it, sell it. It goes both ways. A very, very tiny little buy there, but still looking for shorts. What are the grey boxes on your chart, Laurie? These are, this is called a gap indicator. Well, it was called gap indicator. The gap indicator got removed from the marketplace, so I'm using one called WRB hidden gaps. You can get it in the Telegram group. I put a link in the Telegram group a minute ago. I'll put it in there again. Go to the file section and you'll find the file in the Telegram group. And it basically draws, this particular one draws based on the logic used by M.A. Perry, who came up with this concept. So what it does is it draws a box from the low of the candle before a propulsion move and the high of the following candle. Yeah, so it's for MT4 and for Forex, where you've got no volume profile available to you because you've got no centralized exchange. This is as good as a volume profile. So on a volume profile in futures, yeah, it shows you where the volume has been traded. When you get volume traded, that is an accumulation. And then after the accumulation, you get a spike. Yeah. So what this shows us is where the volume was before the spike. Yeah. So the spike is the move after the accumulation. So this is them building up orders. This is them moving the market to take profit on those orders. Yeah. So that's what that tells you. So it shows you where the sellers are. Yeah. It shows you where the buyers are. And buyers and sellers, bulls and bears, are what battle to make price go up and down. So we need to know where they are. If we know where they are, we can trade with them. And we use market structure, using the reversal alerts indicator to show us where we're currently going. Well, I do anyway. You can use what you like. Free country. So we've got some good buying coming in at the minute. Lovely wicks to the downside. Again, just another signal. Wicks, buying pressure. Sellers pushing down, buyers going nope. Sellers pushing down, buyers going nope. Yeah, when that happens at one of these, good long. That's a good long. Might take a little one there. Only reason I'm taking a tiny one is because I've got a tiny one on there. I've already got one in profit. So I'm not going to take an S&P. Only seen fair value gap theory via ICT. Yes, similar. It's all the same sort of stuff. M.A. Perry came up with wide range bars way before ICT was even around. You can Google him, M.A. Perry. He's kind of the grandfather, if you like, of these, and everyone calls them different things. I call them propulsion candles. Depending what videos you watch, you'll find lots of explanations of them. Literally, it's just a propulsion candle. That's all it is. It's a strong move in the market. It's momentum. Same thing. It's all the same stuff. The trouble with Forex and the trouble with trading in general is there are so many names for the same thing. Supply and demand. Everyone's going crazy about supply and demand. It's support and resistance. It's been around forever. Yeah. Whether you draw your supply and demand as a box, or you draw it as a line, it's the same thing. Where price stopped. Don't overcomplicate it. Price moved up to there, and then it came down. What does that tell you? Everyone started selling. So there's an area where if we get back to it, it's likely those sellers will defend their positions and push price away. Call it what you like, and draw it as you wish, but it's supply and demand, support and resistance. It's the same stuff. A propulsion candle is the market leaving a footprint in your chart to say that we built up a load of orders here, and now we're executing them. And if you want to come back and try and get rid of our positions, we're going to add some more and push you away. Yeah, that's all it is. It's the same stuff. But everyone, it complicates the hell out of everything, the way that we have so many words for things. And I think part of it is people make up new words for things because they want to be unique. But it's the same thing that the guys were trading ticker tape in the 1930s. It's the same stuff. It's just now we can visually see it, and we've got indicators to help us identify it a lot easier. But fair value gaps are wide range bars, are propulsion candles, are momentum moves, are the same stuff. But it's been around, since the Chinese invented candlestick charts. So go back to the way before we had computers. Same stuff. I'm pretty sure they called it something else. Look it up. I'm sure there's a Chinese word for propulsion gap or for long candlestick. Long candlestick. Doji, we know. Doji, and there's lots of Chinese words, obviously, that we use in candlestick charting because it's invented by the Chinese. Shooting stars, the hammers, and all this sort of stuff is words that we've attached to whatever they used to call them. But it's very confusing. Way too many names for the same thing. It's 3:30. I've got to go in a minute. Right, so we're just taking out the lows of Asia on the NAS. S&P is pulling back as well, obviously, but we are not anywhere near the Asian lows yet on the S&P. So we'll see what kind of reaction we get down here on the NAS. Whether or not we are going to try and attack these lows. We've got the London low. We've got the New York low from yesterday. Obviously, yesterday's low is London. So we've got three levels here, potentially, where we've pulled away from. So we'll see if we get some buying pressure coming in here. If not, I suspect we are going to be heading somewhere down into this range today, which would be an ADR hit to the low. And then obviously it's whether or not they hold it here and we go and paint a down day, or we go a rotation day and just come back up and stick in a similar sort of move to yesterday rotation. We ended up ever so slightly higher. Obviously today we could also end up in a similar place, but we'll see. Let's see where they take us. Chinese or Japanese? It's Chinese candlesticks, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. Might be Japanese. Let's ask somebody. Who invented candlesticks trading? I can't pronounce it. Munehisa Homa. Japanese. Yeah, you're right. Japanese. It was Japanese. Japanese candlesticks. Chinese, Japanese. Oriental candlesticks. It's probably very un-PC now. I've called them Chinese candlesticks. I'm going to get really told off in the Telegram group. Do you measure spacing between series in NAS and S&P the same as in currency pairs? Exact one ADR between doesn't seem very far on the NAS. No. I go in a little bit more aggressively on the S&P with levels in mind and the NAS. To be honest, I normally only trade one. At the moment, I'm trading more than one. So I would typically get in at levels rather than getting in spaced. So with the S&P and the NAS, I'm more looking at levels to enter rather than measuring distance. So I'm happy. The reason I took that 0.1 there is because I had an orphaned 0.1 So I've got there a little bit close together. You are right. But next entry is here at these highs, which coincides also with a gap over here, propulsion gap over there. But you can see where my additional entries are down here. So that's it for me. I'm going to get in there and I'm leaving the rest down to pullbacks if we get them. So there is a chance we can get down to this 200. Yeah, we do hit the 200 on the NAS. It is very rare, but we do. So there is a possibility that we are going to, like I said when we started, we are actually in downside market structure at the moment, which would make sense to come back down and challenge this area of accumulation here. And if it does, I'm going to go into drawdown down to there. So yeah, it is a possibility. We could also have, as you can see here, we got a nice big propulsion move on the daily after we had this hammer put in. So we could quite easily pull back down into this area. We identified that on the hourly, didn't we? Here. Yeah, so there's two zones on the hourly from Tuesday. So this is your hammer. Sorry, here is your hammer. So painted on the daily, that looks like that. And then we had another up move with bullish candle. And then yesterday we had the move up and pull back. So that was the spinning top, which is a reversal candlestick pattern. So today could well push down like that. So I would expect us to come back down to there. So market structure, I would look to do that. My MAs don't look like regular MAs. Yeah, they're all normal MAs. Oh, you mean the colouring? Yeah, this is just this is called a ribbon MA. So it paints basically a colour. But they're just normal moving averages. These are the 24 and the 72 exponentials. And that's the 200. If you want these indicators, they are on the website. Just go to indicators, other indicators and template. This is the marketstructuretrader.com. And there's a zip file which contains all the other indicators I use. So pushing down again, we have broken the Asian lows. See if we can hold those on the NAS. S&P coming down to Asian midline. So see the buyers coming in now. Yeah, so we've hit the these lows. So this is where we obviously Asia. This was the lowest point we got to today in Asia. To be honest, the Asian session low doesn't mean as much in indices trading as it does in Forex, because in Forex this is the Asian session, which is typically the accumulation session. With indices, this isn't really traded much. This is traded by algorithms, so we tend to see most of the action, as you can see, happening in New York and in London. So can I see the settings? Yeah, the settings are all on. If you want to see the settings, go and have a look at the Boocamp. Best thing to do is look at the Boocamp. All the settings are explained in there on day 3. All explained. There's a lot of them, so I'm not going to go through them here because they're all covered in that video. Go and scan through that video, Position Trading Bootcamp, day 3. You'll see them all in there. Okay, so we've got a nice doji put in at the Asian lows. Again, if you're day trading, yeah, nice entry, potentially. Doji is a reversal candlestick pattern. If we get a bullish candlestick here, that would be a 3-bar reversal. That would be a nice entry as well, if you're trading pure candlestick patterns. We just had US dollar yen hitting ADR. God, US dollar still coming down. Look. Nope, this is yen strength. Okay, so we got Dixie strength coming through now and US dollar yen coming down. So that means the yen is powering up. So New Zealand dollar yen coming down hard. Euro yen. Anybody on any yens? We got a lot of yen strength coming through. Very nice. Again, been waiting for the yen to power up for a while. I've got no yen on. I haven't taken any yen since before Christmas. Not really unsure of the yen at the minute. Pound US dollar just got short. So we just had a retest. So we had a reversal alert, retest. So just taken initial position short. Or did I take that earlier? Can't remember. Is that the EA or me? I get lost. The trouble with having an EA trade for you is you can never remember what you've done and what the EA's done. Because it trades the same way as my brain thinks. So I can never tell whether I'm trading or it is. Pound US dollar. No, I took that one. Oh dear. Yeah, I took that one earlier. Ignore that. Still, it's taken on the reversal alert. So, still pushing. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a nice down day potentially on the NAS today, which is nice because it means we are pulling back, ready to power up for the next leg higher, hopefully. So, keep an eye on market structure. The ideal would be not to break this level. So what we're looking for is the buyers in here to step in before we hit ADR and push price back out. So that would be low, high, low, high, high, low. Let's draw it properly. Low. To be honest, actually, I would probably just say that. Really. That's your market structure off of this break. Obviously, you're going to get reversal alerts happening in the opposite direction. Again, this is why you don't take every reversal alert you get. Unless, of course, you want to play an always-in scenario where you would take a reversal alert, you would trade it up to that, you would get out there, you would enter short there. And if the alert got invalidated, you would enter long there. So there's lots of different ways to trade with the indicator. But this is just telling me that we are in a pullback at the moment on this move. Pete's in EJ short. Good, good, good. Yeah, Euro Yen. Oh yeah, Euro Yen. We've had plenty of opportunities on this one. This is one that got really embedded just before Christmas, and over the Christmas period with all the light liquidity, just flew. Again, this is why I don't trade before Christmas. But yeah, it's starting to come down now. So you got the reversal alert, retest, double retest, but obviously we are still potentially moving up, but we are entering now into a symmetrical triangle. Yeah. So before the break. So we're just tapping into the lows of the New York session yesterday on the NAS. A little bit of rejection down there. Typical. Plumber's not turned up again. I waited in yesterday afternoon for a plumber to turn up. And then he texted me this morning at 7 o'clock saying, sorry, I'm late. Right? Yeah, all right. It's only the next day, mate. And then he said he'd be here this afternoon, 3:30, sometime after 3:30, before 5. It's 3:45. I'm not whinging. I just really, really want to get someone to look at my radiators. But anyway, so I will hang on for a minute because he's not here yet. Yeah, Pete, you've been in it for ages. Simon, short on UJ. Good. Yeah, UJ's been coming down for a while. Nice continuation push. Again, this is US dollar. Still not managing to stand up, although we are tapping into that level. Remember I said where we were going to turn? Obviously, we are getting very bullish out of this zone, so be careful if you are longing the US dollar, longing anything against the US dollar. Looks like it wants to pull back. But yen obviously is stronger than the US dollar at the moment. Yen, if ever you're looking at charts, obviously, and you're not sure why something's moving, look at all the other pairs and you'll be able to tell. So obviously we can see that the US dollar index is pushing up at the moment. So the Dixie's having a nice bounce for this hour, and the US dollar yen is coming down. So this tells us that the US dollar is weaker than the yen at the moment. So the yen is in control. When the market makers are manipulating the market to get it moving, they will tend to manipulate one currency at a time, sometimes two currencies. So you'll always find at any one time there's one currency moving stronger than the others, typically. And this is a prime example. The yen is the one that's in control at the moment. They call it the currency in control. And that's basically where all the transactions are being placed. So you tend to get big pushes. And this is why I say we don't take the COT report into account as much on the Swiss franc as we do on the others, because they will quite often start to manipulate the Swiss franc hard. And the Swissy is kind of a neutral currency because it's such a small country and such a small currency. When you get money piled into it for transactions, it moves so fast. And it's a big banking sector, obviously, Swiss banks. So you get these big, strong moves on the Swissy. And you'll often see, when something moves, I'll have a look at the Swissy. If it's Swiss franc crossed, I'll have a look at all the Swissy pairs, quickly see, are they manipulating the Swissy? And it tells you whether or not you should be getting in and out of things as well. So it's very handy. Always be looking at what's going on across the board. And I've got my big 43-inch monitor, which has every single pair on it, which I can see everything going on. Complete overview of the market. Just switch back to the S&P. So, bit of buying pressure coming in. Nice, decent move down this. Good pullback. So this area is being defended on the S&P at the minute. Same as on the NAS. With what he knows and how he is tanking in the money, he is a proper Londoner. I'm not from London. I'm from Sussex, the posh bit. I'm not from London. I bet we all sound the same, don't we? If you're not from the UK, you probably think we all sound like Londoners. I'm not a Londoner. You'd be able to tell if I was a Londoner. Lucky enough to live in the UK though, and in my opinion, the UK is the best place in the world to trade from, because you get to take advantage of the end of the Asian session, the entire London session, and good half of the New York session. So you can see, obviously, on this chart, it's a really good example. The market moves in London and New York, and we get to sit during the day through the entire volatility in London. It's great, or in the UK, and Europe as well. Okay, so we've crashed through that. We've tapped straight into yesterday's low on the NAS. So we'll see if we get any holds here, any buying pressure coming through. S&P just approaching the Asian lows. Again, let's crash straight through. So really good selling. So my next entry is going to be here, which is this support and resistance, which obviously is at the top of this massive propulsion move. See if we get that held. And that is a good target for the S&P. I mean a posh Londoner. Yeah, that's what they call us in Sussex. We're posh Londoners. The fact that you're in Sussex suggests to me that you must be a Chelsea supporter. I don't support football at all. No. I live near Brighton, so it would be Brighton and Hove. But no, I don't support football. I've never been interested. I'm one of those rare breed males that is not interested in football at all. Never have been for some reason. Maybe because I was crap at it at school. I never got into it. So yeah. Don't support football. I support England. I go and watch England, but mainly so I can go to the pub. Or bar, if you're American. But yeah, no, not into football. Never have been. Okay, so just got my next position on NAS. I'm just going to add a 0.1 on the S&P down here as well, just so that I enter with 0.2s normally on this account size. So these are good. This is a good area on the NAS, and if we do get the reaction, the buying reaction here, that will propel the S&P obviously as well. Most of the time. So at the moment, the S&P's got a little bit of a mind of its own. We had a really big down day on the NAS, and the S&P just sat there sideways for the day. So didn't pay any attention to this. There's obviously a big tech sector scale out going on. But yeah, the S&P's a little bit of a mind of its own at the moment. So Euro Swiss is coming down nicely still, as is the Euro New Zealand. Pound US, that US dollar CAD's flying. Look. Lovely trade that. Just about to get a reversal alert on M15. Whoops. Bozo, you're in the UK as well. Very cool. Excellent. Best place to be, unless you like weather. Right. My plumber's coming. He's just texted me. Finally. I've got a bit of a problem with our radiators at the moment. All the radiators downstairs are stone cold. Is there any plumbers in here? You'll probably know exactly what it is. But our radiators downstairs are all cold, and the radiators upstairs are all absolutely baking. So we had our pump replaced, which is what it normally is, because it's got a gravity-fed system. And that did nothing. So I dumped 500 and something quid on fault finding and pump, and it still hasn't helped. So the next thing to do is flush out the system. So I thought, sod that, I'm just going to buy a load of new radiators. So yeah, that's what he's coming around to do. Quote on getting some radiators in. But I have nothing against tradespeople, but my God, they're unreliable, most of the ones I've ever used. Hence, taking, pretty much just about a day to arrive from when he was meant to come, but he's coming. That's the most important thing. I don't mind people if they're unreliable or not particularly good timekeeping, as long as they do it. Currently working in Portsmouth, Laurie. Excellent. Just down the road. I used to work in Portsmouth and Southsea. That is about the one thing that is an issue here. Weather, yeah, weather. We don't have the weather, but we do live in a nice affluent country. So third world problems, having bad weather. There's a lot worse things going on in the world than having a bit of rain and a summer that lasts for 6 weeks, if you're lucky. Bought a paddleboard. Bought 2 paddleboards last year, actually. Used them 5 times. That was summer. Okay, so we've got a reaction off of this support and resistance and this buy area here. So we'll see if this holds. Obviously, the liquidity from yesterday, anybody that entered long yesterday would have been sitting straight under this low, under that London low. That's what's just been taken out, the London low, yesterday's low. So if this is just a liquidity run and power up for the next leg, it's done. If not, it's the start of a pullback. We should hopefully get some rejection out of here, pull back, and then drop. So one of those is going to play out. We'll see. It may well just continue down, obviously. Might not want to even pull back. If that is the case, that's even better, because obviously if we just put in multiple down candles, a la this, we tend to get a V-shaped recovery off the back of it. So either way, don't mind if it keeps coming down. I was in Southsea, Portsmouth 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I used to work all the way down there for many years. Right, I'm going to have to call it a day there, guys, because my plumber's just turned up. I can see him out the window. So I'll be back on tomorrow at 8:30. Give us a like if you enjoyed the stream. Obviously, make sure you hit that bell so that you get notified when the streams are starting. Next one is 8:30 tomorrow morning. So it's 8:30 a.m. UK time and 2 o'clock afternoon in UK time as well. So good luck this afternoon. Make sure you just manage your positions, obviously. Keep an eye on everything. Take profits where you can. And if there's any questions or anything, come into the Telegram group. I'm always in the Telegram group, so you can always come in there and ask questions. And obviously, you can cover things in the stream as well. So anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, have a good afternoon. Hopefully it's profitable. And I will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. At 8:30 in the morning. Tomorrow morning.